Today I'll talk about the solo single that I'm releasing on September 2nd. It's a 8-minute plus epic medley of 3 songs, an original. Actually, the original is a psalm adaptation, so a musical and poetic version that I created of Psalm 1, actually, the first psalm in the book of Psalms in the Bible. I realize that might not be everyone's thing, so it's part of maybe why I want to talk about it, to kind of talk about where I'm coming from with it. But then after that, it flows into a cover of War by Bob Marley, which I do not take lightly, covering that song. And from there into a minor version of If I Had a Hammer by Pete Seeger. And actually, I learned more about the writers of both of those songs, and it's actually Seeger and Hayes who wrote If I Had a Hammer, and actually War by Bob Marley, which truly is Bob Marley's song in a very real sense, was actually not written by him, though. It was recorded by him and made famous by him. But the drummer, Carlton Barrett, and the football coach, the soccer coach of the Whalers, who were basically like a low-key professional level soccer team. They had a coach who was also their tour manager once, Alan Skill Cole, and he's actually credited with co-writing War. And the song also famously paraphrases a speech that Haile Selassie made to the United Nations. You know the song. Or if you don't, then, if this is a reason for you to discover the song or rediscover the song, then that's a good thing. Yeah, what do I want to say about it? Well, to me, those 2 cover songs really give meaning and context to the psalm and where I'm coming from with all of the psalms, because I did a whole project last year. In some ways I'm still kind of going through it, but it really was in the peak of the early waves of the pandemic. I was reading the psalms and cherry picking psalms to adapt that stood out to me as songs, as kind of an exercise. I did dozens of them. I think I've done 35 or so. There's 150 of them in the Bible. And very, very powerful stuff. Psalm 1, I think really sets up war in quite a powerful way, because it's about how ultimately the way of the wicked will perish, which is also kind of what war is about too, but war makes it very clear what I mean by that. War is the song that goes, until the philosophy that holds one race superior and another inferior is finally and permanently discredited and abandoned, everywhere is war, right? So making it very clear that until, until we get our shit together, here on Earth, we are in permanent war with those who would oppress, And that is kind of the main idea explored in that song. And then all of that really sets up If I Had a Hammer in a really beautiful way, and have slowed it down and changed the melody to fit the kind of minor reggae form of the first 2 songs. So it becomes more of like a haunting version of If I Had a Hammer, but then it reaches the last verse, I have a hammer, I have a bell, I have a song to sing. It's a hammer of justice, it's a bell of freedom, it's a song about love between my brothers and my sisters all over this land, which becomes like this kind of epic climax of the whole piece. I just discovered this medley, you know, the way I do all my stuff. I love medleys. I just play the songs over and over again very repetitively. That's why I love reggae and blues and, you know, other forms of music that are super repetitive. You get into this like kind of meditative place with it. And the new melody just kind of came to me following war, you know, just spontaneously. And so that's how the medley came to be. And I'm proud of it. It's the first time I've released cover songs on like Spotify, Apple, etc. So I had to go ahead and buy the licenses and actually it was somewhat complicated in this case. With the YouTube video that we just released, it was very straightforward. We used wearethehits.com and it was like easy. But with this piece, they weren't available on that website's database, these two songs. I actually had to write I used easysonglicensing.com and I had to get the custom handling, and then ultimately I had to like write directly to the rights holders, which, you know, were linked directly to the songwriters. So I had to like write a couple paragraphs of my intention to Alan Skill Cole, and Carly Barrett, you know, or their next of kin in Carly Barrett's case, I think, and then yeah, also to the Seeger family. I'm embarrassed now that I forget whether Carly Barrett is still with us or not. I'm gonna have to double check that. I believe he is not, and so rest in peace, Carly Barrett. I think Alan Skill Cole is still with us. I hope so. So I'm gonna go double check that. But yeah, no, I actually had to write to the, like, you know, record companies that own these these rights. Intellectual property is such a strange thing. But the point is, this is a first for me in many ways. I'm excited for you to hear it. I'm proud of the work that I've done, and I'm excited for the band single that's gonna come later after that on September 21st. I'll make another video about that. That's an original song, but all right. Much love, and please pre-save it on Spotify if you're a Spotify user, and if not, just, you know, circle back here on September 2nd for the, you know, link tree or whatever. But if you do use Spotify, and I know most of you probably do, please pre-save it. It helps us kind of like get noticed by the Spotify robots, and that helps us get heard more and played more. Thank you. One love.